Jim also asked me to say a few words today. Can you hear me okay out there in the back? Okay, that's great. You know, for about the last year or so, I've started getting involved in politics. When I was in uniform, the Hatch Act said I couldn't take sides in politics. And now that I'm retired, it's turned out that there's an opportunity to get involved, as every citizen should be. And part of our mission is helping those other brothers and sisters down the street from us find their role to play in it. We all have differences. And just as the same as when we go to church on Sunday and we look to the left and look to the right, we don't see another person that believes exactly as we do. But we do not get up and abandon the church because of it. Because we focus on what we have in common. God did make us all unique, but He didn't make us the same. And it is those unique differences that make us special in His eyes and in our walk on this earth. So when I see groups that start criticizing each other within the conservative movement, it dawned on me that makes about as, you know, we got people out there working for the pro-life cause, people working for Second Amendment, people working for the marriage amendment. And they start criticizing other people, and I see it on Facebook. Well, why aren't you out here about the marriage amendment? This marriage amendment is very important. Well, of course it is. But so is Second Amendment rights, so is illegal immigration. And it makes about as much sense as criticizing the Marines that fought in the Pacific for having done nothing to win the war in Europe. Folks, we're all on the same team. And each of you here today in support of the marriage amendment, I know has very strong and deep feelings on those other issues as well. But I thank you for taking time out today to stand for this one critical issue. Because at the end of the day, we are all Americans. And I know we all want what's best for this country. I've had people tell me that this marriage amendment is nothing but racist bigotry. It's nothing but legislated discrimination. And the truth is, folks, we discriminate in this nation every day. And the fundamental basis for that discrimination is what is good and what is evil. We cannot make evil good simply by calling it so. And in this country, there is no right to do wrong. And unless we take a stand for that, we make true the words in Revelations that there will come a time when good will become evil and evil will become good. This is the battle that we fight today. Standing up for what is right and proper. But Major Dave, the Constitution, separation of church and state. Folks, you know, I carry around every time I go out in public the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and our North Carolina Constitution. Because if I'm ever going to get in an argument with somebody like that, I want to be able to open it, turn to the page and say, please, show me where that is. They can't do it. Yes, I believe in the separation of church and state as far as institutions. But ladies and gentlemen, there is absolutely no separation between God and state. Here in the state of North Carolina, according to our Constitution, any person who shall deny the being of Almighty God is ineligible to hold public office. I admit, I did not know that, and I grew up right here in North Carolina going to public schools. And that part of our Constitution had never been read to me. And when I started studying it, it changed my whole perspective of the true nature of the birthright that we have in this country as a godly nation. We cannot remain a godly nation and govern ourselves as godless ones. It simply will not happen. I submit to you that this amendment that is on the ballot for Tuesday, that there is no greater limitation placed on our government. There is no greater due in the due process of our government than the people placing restrictions on their government as to what limits it will abide and what values it will promote or reject. But Major Dave, this is already in the law. It's already a matter of law. Why do we need it in the Constitution? As long as it remains law and it is not in the Constitution, any judge who should have a case come before him on that issue could easily say this law is unconstitutional and be absolutely right. And I don't think we want the future of our state and the spiritual health of this nation to be at the mercy of radical judges. If anything keeps us a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, it is us, we the people, standing up and speaking out and casting our vote to enshrine those principles in our Constitution.
Amen.
So I thank you all for coming here. He told me I could talk for 20 minutes, but I think I've about covered the meat of it. And I don't want to steal everybody else's thunder because we've got other great people here today. I want to leave you with this thought, because I'm not a pro at standing up in front of crowds like this. I'm not shy by any means. I mean, I love to get around and talk to people. But the occasion may come where you have the opportunity to play a bigger role in your community than what you're playing now. There was a time when I would have been very uncomfortable leading that opening prayer, as I did earlier. And what changed my mind on that point was two things. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And I remember from many, many years ago hearing the Reverend Billy Graham point out very clearly, there has never been a pulpit in this country manned by anyone other than a sinner. It is all in how we walk. It is how we are redeemed and can rise above our sin. And I stand here today before you as a convicted sinner, just as you are. But that does not disqualify us from spreading His Word. For if that were the case, there would be no spreading of the Word. I encourage each of you when you leave here today, in what little time is left between now and Tuesday, to do whatever you can to make that argument that God is the only thing that can heal this country.
Amen.
America is destined to be brought to its knees, either in defeat or in humble obedience and prayer to Him. And there is but only one from which we can rise. So I thank you for coming out today, and I'm going to be followed by Pastor Philip Moore. He and the Hawks family are coming up, and they're going to do a couple of songs for you, and then Philip is going to speak to you.